The Canterbury Tales. Geoffrey Chaucer was born in London in 1343 into a family who had made money in the wine business. When he was a teenager, he became the servant of one of the king's sons, and for the rest of his life he was connected with the royal court in London. In 1359, he fought in the war in France, where he was taken prisoner, but released for a ransom, part of which was paid by the English king, Edward III. During the 1360s, he married Philippa, a lady of the Queen's court. Chaucer's greatest masterpiece is The Canterbury Tales, which is about a group of pilgrims traveling from London to Canterbury to visit the tomb of Thomas Becket, who had been murdered in the Canterbury Cathedral. Thomas Becket was believed to be able to help the sick and answer the pilgrims' prayers. The Canterbury Tales is written in an early form of English called Middle English. French was the language of the court and aristocracy. Latin was the language of the law and universities. And English was the language of ordinary people. During all of Chaucer's time, there was a war against France known as the 100 Years' War, caused by England's ambition to rule France. All the battles took place in France, and England won several, although eventually it lost the war. However, many more lives were lost because of the Black Death, that is a terrible disease carried by rats that came to Europe from the East in 1347 and arrived in England in 1348. During that time, half of the population of England died. The plague came back in 1361, and a fifth of the population died. In 1381, there was a violent protest by workers in the country. Thousands of them marched in the so-called Peasants' Revolt, demanding a reduction in taxes and an end to the medieval practice of agricultural workers being obliged to work for free for the people who owned the land. Chaucer certainly lived in troubled times, and references to these troubles are seen throughout the Canterbury Tales.